Mike Murdoch. I want to talk about myself just a little bit. 77, April 18th, 77. When I was born, 2.5 years old, I had a lot of worms. My mother counted over 614 worms crawled out of my mouth, etc., in one day. Doctor said I would die. My father prayed the prayer. You may have heard my testimony how God healed me. At the age of 8 years old, on a Sunday night, I gave my life to Christ, to my father, like an official decision for Christ in Waco, Texas. A few weeks later, I told my dad I wanted to preach. He allowed me to preach on a Sunday night. At 10 years old, I traveled with him in a tent. He was starting churches in different towns called Highway and Hedge Evangelism. I'm sharing this because information increases confidence. If you know someone's background, what they're about, you can adapt kind of a lot easier. Had a couple come that night to a tent revival on their way to commit suicide. And the next night they gave the testimony. They heard me preach. They said, we saw that little boy up there. They kept saying, cast all your cares upon him. Jesus cares about you. I remember that night. I remember very well. Not totally, but At 15 years old, I started holding crusades. Pastor Howard Holt and his wife, Jackie, she's in heaven. He's 94 today. He's part of my world, my life. And I've sponsored his last 20 years of ministry. His daughter, Janet's a longtime friend. She's taking care of him now. I started preaching crusades at 15. At 18, at 17, 18, 16, 17, 18, I used to go to the law courts of Lake Charles. They had 4, A, B, C, and D, as I recall. And I'd leave the school, LaGrange. I'd leave that at 12:30 every day and go sit for hours in the courtroom. And when I saw injustice in the court, which I did, I was devastated. And I realized that not every judge is straight. Prosecutors are not always straight. And I lost all confidence in the legal system. I still think it's almost a joke in some places. We know that we have found people. I hate injustice. I despise it. Like I hate racism. I hate it. Where'd that come from? Demonic? It's not just inexperienced, stupid, immature. It's evil. It's evil. Inexperience isn't evil. Immaturity isn't evil. Disinterest is not evil. But dishonor is very evil. And there are many evil spirits in the world today. In fact, probably more so now than any time I've seen in my life. I believe in the honoring of authority. My father really worked that into my heart. I believe that you must honor your parents, that it'll go good with all the days of your life. The first 4 of the 10 commandments are about honoring God. And you honor him through his scriptures, through obedience, through the 10% tithe, and through winning souls. There are several things that prove you honor God. By the way, if anybody in your life does not have the fear of God, they're the most dangerous page in your history. $47 million Americans believe that killing babies is wonderful. Now imagine that. Imagine that. Here in the Christian nation of the whole earth, 47 million are baby killers. Whew. That don't affect you? That don't affect you? That all over the city and the town, that 47 million are baby killers? My difference is I really love children. I love babies. I love babies. With all my heart. But at 18 years old, I made a decision to go to Bible college. I was influenced by a man named Blake Farmer, the president, and George Brazel, the vice president, in a youth camp where Marvin Gorman was the leader, and I was inspired. He was a pastor of a great church in New Orleans. I was I think during those years, 16, 17, 18. So I went to Bible college. Waxahachie, Texas, 40 minutes from where I'm living right now. Good people. Assemblies of God are extremely consistent and faithful in especially their love for missions around the world. I became ordained under their ministry. I traveled all over the world as an Assemblies of God evangelist. Got married when I was 20. Married 13 years to the only person I'd ever kissed or loved in my life like that, and I was in love. She strayed, broke my heart. The last 5 years was indescribably painful for me. Her last lover moved into the house 2 weeks after I got a little apartment down the street, and my life hurt. For some of you that think divorce is easy, it is for some. One lady told me at the Wisdom Center one time, she said, I'm going through a divorce. I said, oh my God, I grabbed her to start praying. She said, oh, it's the best thing ever happened to me. I'm so glad he's gone. And I thought, what? What? But evidently he had beat her up and all that stuff. But I think divorce is devastating when you love. I stayed in love for about 2 years after the divorce. Then I went about 43 years single. And I got married on October the 15th, 2 Octobers ago, to a precious, precious woman of God, lawyer for the Supreme Court Justice, what they call him, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Brazil. There's a long story behind that. It's a good story. I fell in love with the Holy Spirit on July 13th, 94. He changed my whole life. I began to sing love songs to him. I've written hundreds and hundreds of love songs to the Holy Spirit. If you're a first-time viewer, I play the piano and the mandolin and the accordion and the organ and the guitar, but I love the piano. Usually every day at 11 o'clock, we've just started the 11 o'clock, I call it Heaven at 11. Heaven at 11 o'clock, Texas time, if you want to watch me. And I hope you will. That's about me, stuff about me. I have an adopted son. He's 45 now. And he lives probably 40 minutes from me. And I'll say many things about that a little bit later. Don't forget, my book is free. 31 Rewards of Reading the Bible. I've urged everybody to buy 20 copies. Just, if you love the Bible, No better book. I'll be back.